So this is my lesson plan number 8 on fluency. So remember a few weeks ago we got to read Pat and the Pot on the Seal. And then I'm gonna get out the little one-page reader. Well, do you remember we read it 3 times? What we were doing is working on our fluency. We got to work on our accuracy, our prosody, and our intonation, which is how smooth our quality of reading and expression. Does anyone know why it's important for us to work on our fluency? That's the question I'm gonna ask. Well, fluency is important because it builds a relationship between being able to read, and it also builds up our reading comprehension. So, meaning you will not just be able to read, you will also be able to understand the meaning of what you're reading. So when I'm done with that, I will go to my first activity, which is 5.013 fast phrases. I will introduce the activity by telling the students, today we are going to read phrases that will help us gain speed and accuracy in our reading. And these are some of the phrases that I will be using. Must be his, I like it, want to go to school, turn it over, they still need, it is light, put it up, set it here, and so on. So, how we're gonna do this activity is, alright guys, we are going to test our accuracy and speed by reading the phrases as I have listed above, which is these right here. I will give them an example how to do this activity. We will have a stack with all the phrases that I mentioned above. We will give each other 1 minute to read the phrases with accuracy and how fast we can read them. If we perfectly say the phrase, we will put the phrases in the yes stack, meaning we were able to read the phrase well with no hesitation. But if we miss 2 words from a phrase, it will go on the no stack, meaning that we couldn't read the phrase. So then that's what 2 students are gonna be doing, is they're gonna take turns reading the phrases, and they're gonna time themselves to see how many phrases they are able to read. So my next activity is F.016, which I will introduce the activity by asking them a question. Who likes taking walks in the park? So today we are going to read a short passage called Walks in the Park. While reading this passage, we will read with proper phrasing and notation and expression in chunked text. So this is the passage we will be reading, Walks in the Park. So first of all, I'm going to tell them what intonation and proper phrasing means, so they will keep that in mind while reading. Proper phrasing is how we express ourselves while reading, and intonation is our expression towards how we read it, which is technically kind of the same thing. I will pair up skilled readers with a less skilled reader. I will give each student the passage, Walks in the Park. They will have a timer to see how long it takes them to read the passage. The skilled reader will be reading first, and they will pause briefly between phrases, and they will be marking them with slash marks. The less skilled student will then read the passage with the already marked phrases and pause briefly between each. They will be reading the same passage over and over again to see how fast they can read it, or how accurate they can read it. for those who are more advanced readers, they will get into partners, but they will have a harder passage to read from. On our third activity, which I picked, was a 5.025 graph repeated readings. So for our last activity, we will be reading a passage called BMX Bikes. With this passage, we'll be able to build on speed and accuracy. So, this is the passage we will be reading from. The BMX Bikes, as I have it here. I will also be pairing students into pairs. They will both receive the passage. They will also receive a, let me see. They will also receive a little, what's this called? They will receive a reading record, which tells them the number of words they read and how many errors they made, which will tell them how many words they did per minute, and a little words correct per minute chart, which will monitor their reading. So the first try, second try, third try, fourth try, fifth try. Now, so then, let me see, lost. So they will both receive a reading record and a word correct per minute graph, like I showed y'all. They will also use a timer to time themselves for 1 minute to know how many words they can read. The first student will be reading, while the other student will be reading along with the student to mark any words they have written correctly. Once done, the student will mark how many words he got correct in the minute. The second student will also do this activity, and vice versa. They will also be reading this activity, this passage, the BMX Bikes, repeatedly, so to see if their accuracy and their speed of reading will improve. So for those who are more advanced, I will pair them up. I will give them a harder passage to read and encourage them to set a goal to achieve the highest reading word count in a minute. And here are my links to my lesson that I did. So yeah.